So, Faith, for the people who don't know you, haven't seen you before, don't really know your background, give us a little um, an explanation of where you came from, where you live now, how you got started into music, what age, and kind of take us through the journey.
Yeah. So I was born in LA, where around like downtown LA, so more of like Gardena and stuff like that. I was born into a family of creativity, of course, and so that's always been a big part of our family life and just overall our experiences with each other. That's always like a big part of everything. And I remember that just at a young age, the piano was always around, and I could always like touch it or be on it, even at the age of 3 or 2. And when I was 5, we had moved to Utah, which is where I am now, and that's when I started playing the piano. And around the age of 7, I started playing piano lessons, and then around 8, I started composing my own music, and I kind of dropped that and then started again when I was 11, and I've been composing from then on.
But you kept playing the entire time?
Yeah.
And taking lessons the whole time?
Yep.
That's awesome. Now, last year you went to the Zone Music Report Awards, and you got Best New Artist. And kind of tell us about your trip, your experience getting ready for it, what you did while you were there, kind of the night of the event. Kind of fill us in. Tell everybody what that was like.
Oh, that trip overall was just like crazy. Like it was so much fun, and I really liked it because I'd never been to New Orleans or places like that, and so just being able to go there was really really great, like crazy and great, and I really enjoyed being able to meet new artists, like different people that I never met before, but there was also people I got to meet that I knew and knew of, and so just being able to see their perspective of music was really interesting. And I remember there was a hotel specifically for all the ZMRs, and just being able, the second we walked in, I remember I saw a group of musicians, and just that alone was so cool. Of course, I was with my dad the whole time, so me and him, we did other stuff, and the trip, just everything tied together, the music and touring New Orleans.
What was your favorite thing to see around New Orleans?
I really liked seeing the way of living almost. I liked seeing the way they ate, the way they talked even was really cool. The way they traveled, they had these really cool carts you would be in, like these carts that would be almost like a train station, but they were a lot tinier. I can't remember what they're called, but we would all travel on them, and just seeing that, little things like that that define their culture are really cool to me.
Tell me about the night of the award ceremony. What stuck out in your mind? Obviously, besides winning Best New Artist, what are some things that really stuck out in your mind?
Yeah, that award ceremony was so cool. And everybody was so much older than me, so that was kind of like a different way of seeing it. But the musicians on stage were phenomenal. Everything was flowing and very nicely well done. I also liked being able to meet everybody again because there were some more people there than just at the ZMR apartment, because some people had gone to other places, but getting to talk about music and be able to see their creativity through music was really cool, and just being able to experience that all was really great.
Was there any one particular thing that stood out in your mind?
Yeah, the performers definitely. Besides from getting the award, because that was kind of my own experience, but being able to see all these performers live was so cool, because usually you just hear the audio of people, but being able to see them work together, especially some of the bands that played, being able to see the instruments they played, some of them were foreign to me even, so that was really interesting to see as well.
Awesome. Now, obviously, your first CD was very successful, reaching 12, and I know that you're now in the process of your next CD. Kind of tell everybody what is the process that you're going through now? What's the name of the album? When's the release date? You know, what are you doing? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this new album is basically my journey with music and this whole process of being able to put an album out and now being able to keep going with my music, because I know not many people are able to do this. It's kind of a minority. A lot of people are very, very talented and they don't get this opportunity, so I'm really grateful for that. And just being able to have my own experience with this is kind of where the album is about. And this one's called Notes from Zion, and it's basically about Utah scenery, almost incorporating with my experience and my spiritual growth and my overall growth, because I am still really young, and so I'm growing really fast, of course, and so just in everything, I'm learning new things every day, and I really like this new album, even though nobody's heard it really yet, because it's coming out until January 3rd, 2019, so I just get to wait and be able to see everybody's reaction. But the music definitely, I hope, will speak to people, because I feel like I pushed myself and I feel like I was able to grow drastically and be able to explore music because of all the different influencers in my life.
Excellent. And how many songs will be on this album? How long is it going to be? Are there any other instruments? Are you playing with any other people on this album, or is it still all solo?
Yeah, so I still do piano solo music, and I also still have 12 songs just because these songs were a lot longer because I put in all of my emotion into them. But this one's a little bit longer. This one's probably 55 minutes long, but it's definitely, it kind of shows my growth, and I'm really excited for everybody to hear it.
That's great. Tell me about other artists who inspire you. Do you have anybody else who inspires you? Who do you listen to in your free time? And if you could play with one artist, who would it be?
Yeah, so I like, for the piano industry, because it's definitely different than other types of musics, I like people like Paul Cardall or Michelle McLaughlin. Those are two of my favorite artists definitely in this industry, because I feel like I like to listen to them back and forth almost, because their styles are so different, but it's the same type of music. So seeing their perspective on the way they write is so cool and interesting to me, and it's kind of a way I am able to understand more music, because then I can kind of keep that in my mind and almost put that into my music on different styles of piano. Overall, in the music industry, I listen probably to pop music the most, or I guess you could say modern music. I like to listen to also instrumental music. Like, I write it and I like to listen to it too, but I like to listen to more electro-techno kind of music, and I also have some young artists inspiring me. Yeah.
What would be tell me one artist who really inspires you right now.
Yeah, this girl named Billie Eilish, I really, really enjoy her music because she keeps her personality and her own style in sync with her music. And I like how she's able to tie them all together, because I know a lot of people can't do that, you know. It's kind of interesting how she expresses herself through her music, but she's kind of different in real life as well. But how they correlate is really interesting to me. And also, she's very young. And being able to put out your music at a young age is a great opportunity to be able to do.
That's awesome. Besides music, what other interests do you have? Reading, writing, charities, horseback riding? What kind of stuff do you like to do besides music?
Yeah, again, anything artsy is something I really enjoy, because I like to use my creative side and be able to see different things in different ways. And so I like photography or painting and art, and I also like just anything that has to do with being creative, because I don't like to just have almost a set of rules. I like to have the box and then be able to think outside of it and use what we have and be able to turn it into something maybe you couldn't see before, if that makes sense. I especially like photography because I like to see how in a picture you can capture a whole moment, but in one photo. And that's so cool to me, especially the way how certain cameras work as well. That's something that's really cool too.
Awesome. So, as you've mentioned, and we know you're pretty young, doing great things right now. Tell us where you see yourself in, say, 3 to 5 years with your music and maybe some things outside of music with other goals.
Yeah, I'm definitely still going to be doing piano music just because I like how complex the piano is and how much you can do and use it. It's kind of like a bass and a melody and everything. You can all combine it in one, and it does so much for me that I think I'm going to stick with that. I'm definitely going to be able to reach out to others, maybe collab with a couple people, but I want to keep on the same path I am. I also, outside of music, of course, because I have a lot ahead of me because I'm so young, I want to be able to get a driver's license, of course, graduate high school. I want to stay in school, of course, because I want to be able to get the experience for myself. That kind of helps you learn and grow, and you can sometimes put your experiences in music, so I want to do that.
That's excellent. Do you have any places you want to travel to or anything, sites you want to see?
Yeah, I want to travel around the world and see different cultures outside of the U.S. because there's definitely a lot more out there. Also, different languages around the world are really cool too because we haven't all learned the same, of course. But I also want to be able to perform as well as travel around the world because then I can hopefully touch others around the world with my music.
Is there a specific culture that's like top of the list?
I probably want to go to Europe really badly because, I don't know, just something about all their scenery and their sites that they've made, like some of the statues, like of course the Eiffel Tower, or just stuff like that. I think it's really cool because they made a lot of the stuff so long ago, but yet it's still standing and it's still a big part of their industry and their culture.
Very nice, very nice. Let's kind of move forward to Best of State, and you won Best of State 2018. Tell everybody watching this what you won that award for, what you felt like when you were getting ready for the event, at the event, and maybe the high point of the event for you, things you got to see or experience, besides, of course, winning the award.
Yeah. So I was prepping for this event way before I probably should have because I was so excited. Like, everything just seemed so cool to me. And I'd already been in this building and done this event, but not necessarily for myself and for the awards I was winning. I always went with my dad and kind of the stuff he won. But this time I feel like it just had a different way. I felt like it was a lot more different and the experience of it was different because it was now for my own, and just like being able to get my dress and being able to get ready with my family, that was so cool to me and I was so excited. The event overall was amazing. It was amazing. I really liked how I got to see behind the scenes and be able to be with other people that, like, it's not just music in Best of State. There's a lot of other people that do business stuff, or they also do a lot of educational things, just a whole variety of jobs and kind of things that people work in. And so when I went behind the scenes and saw how they had my name and they had my award, it was really cool to me because I felt like I was included into that.
Did you get to meet any other artists when you were there?
Not too many because you kind of are in your own table with your family and stuff. But being able to hear some of the people that performed, however, was really cool. And I liked, there was a lot of different styles of music that were played there. And so that was really cool to listen to too.
Excellent. So kind of tell maybe some of the other aspiring artists. Are you still taking piano lessons? How often do you do that? Maybe what's your, like a week for you? Is it how many piano lessons, how much you play versus how much you compose? Kind of tell the viewers how you your process for a week or a month.
Yeah, I definitely still do piano lessons because I feel like you can never stop learning. Learning is something we do every day, and especially in something I want to pursue in, I want to be able to learn more and experience more. And so I'm going to keep doing piano lessons probably until I'm 18, so that way I just start doing my own thing by then. But I want to keep doing them because then I can learn different types of styles. I'm not only composing with my piano music, but I also am learning different motifs and stuff like that when I'm going to piano lesson. And I go every week, so that way I keep up and I go often, and that way I kind of refresh my brain often. And I try to practice every day if I can, and I try to practice at least 30 to 45 minutes. And I'm not necessarily always composing or I'm playing the specific things for my lesson. Sometimes I like to adventure out and play maybe songs I like and cover for them, or just different things like that. And composing, I kind of correlate with my piano lesson, but I usually compose more on my own versus doing my piano lesson.
Excellent. Well, let's give some advice maybe to people that maybe you would have liked to have gotten, or that you could advise others who might like music, love music the way you do, but haven't been able to put out an album, or maybe are possibly stuck, or just somewhere along the process. What advice could you give to other artists as far as taking lessons, other things that you might share with them to help them along their journey?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the big things is probably finding inspiration and motivation, because in the music industry, or just almost anything, you have to find your own motivation to be able to keep progressing and keep moving on. At least that's what I think and believe. And so if you're able to find your real reason why you do this and not just trying to please others, because I've learned that you have to find the love for yourself versus trying to help others. And so I would just say find something that may inspire you to keep progressing and keep being able to, whether it's music or not, find something that inspires you and makes you be able to get motivated and then be able to produce what you need to.
Excellent. Um, we've talked a little bit about music and its ability to heal others. Kind of tell our viewers your philosophy on that.
Yeah, so definitely I think that music heals others because music is so, I don't know, there's so much into music that we don't really notice until it really touches us, because there's so much music we take for granted. And so when we really think about it, I think that's when it touches others. Or just every song comes with its story. There's always a story behind a song, of course. And there's always a meaning to a song as well. And so when people relate to that, I think that's when it's the most touching, and it's the best way almost to heal, for at least for me at least. And I feel like, of course, music doesn't always need words, so even like songs without words can touch people. And for me, I'm a composer, of course, so even writing music, not always listening to it, can help you almost have a sensation of healing, because it kind of touches you a way nothing else can.
Very nice. Can you kind of describe your process for creating your music? Kind of what you do, forms of inspiration that you have that we talked about before?
Yeah, definitely I like to kind of play around on the piano, because that's always something that helps me, because then I can see all the different notes and see what I like. And sometimes if I just play random stuff and then I pick out something that I like, then I'm able to start on from there. Or it'll be sometimes if I listen to a lot of different music, or just even the same song and I just listen to it that day, then I'm able to take something from that and be able to write my own. I definitely find a way of being able to spark my creative mindset on just kind of letting myself go and letting my imagination go free and be able to just express itself.
Tell us what kind of allows you to be able to express let your imagination express itself.
Yeah, definitely. I have to be able to feel calm in myself and be able to de-stress from everything. It also has to be a little more quiet for me because then I can be able to focus on the thing I'm needing to, and when I'm composing, obviously, I need to be creative. So that's probably one of the bigger things that I need is just de-stressing. I like to relax by just sometimes maybe listening to music again or stretching out, I sometimes do, and just little things like that when I breathe, stuff like that. It's able to get me into that focus and be able to use that mindset of mine.
Excellent. Um, is there a message that you really want to convey with this new album? Um, maybe one that didn't get conveyed in the previous album, or something that's totally new for this album? What's the big message?
Yeah, I think one of the bigger messages that didn't really get noticed is probably being able to uh, have your own experience because, again, I know that there's different perspectives on everything, so everybody has their own story, of course. Even though we all live in the same world, we all have different lives and different experiences, and so definitely that's a big deal in the way this new album works because it's a journey, and journeys have experiences and memories and things like that. So that's something that's big versus I feel like my first album was more of support and love for others. But that's kind of something that I want to focus on is more of experience.
Excellent. And kind of wrap it up. What's your big goal with your music? What's your big dream to do with this gift that you have?
So personally, I don't actually necessarily want to be famous. I mean, it's obviously like a cool thing, but my main goal is probably to be able to touch others with my music because then I can kind of see how something little in my mind that I created can impact someone so dearly in their hearts. And that's always a really cool thing and a cool thing to experience for someone else and like for my own because it affects them, but also seeing them get affected like that affects me. And that's just one way I want to be able to touch others and help others through my music.
Awesome.
Yeah.